Learning is, well, you're gaining information that improves your knowledge or what you already know, or gives you new information.
To me, memorization is a tool for understanding. Plain memorization will not lead to understanding. That's for sure. But if you understand something, memorizing something makes it's easier, it's more efficient.
If you understand something, you really get how it happens, so you know how the process of it works, and it just makes sense to you. But memorization, you're just going by what you hear, and you're just saying it exactly how it's said to you.
There are some who are willing to learn these new concepts, but they're not getting them because we don't, quote, teach them. So how can we do this? Oh, well, it's very simple. You ask them. Education is not about the teaching of a mind, okay? I'm paraphrasing now. It's about lighting a fire. It's about inspiring.
I think I personally learn best when it's something that I'm interested in. So, or if it's in everyday life, like if I'm with my friends and they tell me something, and then I'll be interested, I think. Not that I don't respect my teachers, but it's just kind of a different relationship when it's with your friends. So then you just kind of want to know because you're more intrigued because they're your friends and you want to know.
Younger people can be introduced to concepts in a more timely fashion. When they're ready and they're interested, somebody can come along and inspire them and help them. Okay? That's an interesting paradigm. Do they need to be graded?
It gets so awkward when they're on film.
There's a lot of pressure to get good grades and score really well on tests, and I think a lot of students live by that and don't get to enjoy what they're learning.
Last week, 19-year-old college freshman who had just graduated high school was imprisoned, put in prison, okay, for taking SAT tests for other members of his high school that he happened to know while he was in school and getting paid to do it. He was getting $2,500 to take tests and took a large number of them apparently. We're going to fix cheating by putting this person in jail. What kind of thinking is that? If you think that putting the kid in jail is going to change the way that he thinks, you're sorely mistaken, okay? It's just going to make him angry at the system. Angrier than he already is. Because he was probably pretty angry at the system in the first place. The kid did very well. He's very smart. I mean, the only reason he got caught was because he was getting SAT scores of, well, they were quoting 2,200, so it's out of 2,400 probably. Better than 2,200, and they were correlating all those test scores with the individuals who was claimed to take the test with their performance in school. Guy goes through 4 years of high school getting C's and D's, and then shows up with a 2280 on the SATs. Well, you know, adults aren't stupid, right? You know, they're not idiots. They can figure that part out, all right? So now what's going on here? It's not the problem that people are running out there and cheating. It's the problem is they think that it's an okay thing to do. They think that it matters what your score on your SAT test is. I promise you, this is a no-brainer. If there were no value, inherent value in your brain about the score on an SAT test, you just said, hey, it's somebody else's opinion of me and I really don't care. It's none of my business. Do you think there would be a market for that cheating? You think, would you pay $2,500 to have somebody take a test that really you couldn't care less what the outcome was? I don't think so.
So testing is a whole different question, whole different topic, you know, what to test, when to test, how much to test. I think we're testing too much. I really think so. I have nothing against having standards. I think standards are good. It gives us a guideline. But to live straight by it, you're passing, you know, we must go for the test and we have to cover all of these standards within a certain time period. It gets a little hard. And it puts on us to be really creative, to find ways to go deep at the same time, and yet try to cover everything that the kids are supposed to know, because that's when they're on the test.
You put them in a pressure cooker and tell them, you know, if you don't succeed, you're a failure. That's the implication. You don't get your minimum SAT score. If this school doesn't raise its average on some California grading system, okay, it's governed as a failure and it's put on a watch list. You drop your average score on this thing by 1 point out of, I think it's 700, 800 or something. It's where how you score the performance of the school on these performance tests. You drop by 1 point and you are put on a watch list. You do that 5 years in a row, and now you're in serious trouble. We got schools in Fremont that are quote unquote in serious trouble. What kind of thinking is that? What kind of thinking is that? Who thought that this was the way that we were going to generate a society of well-adjusted, well-adapted people who were able to contribute in an inspired manner and be what they're meant to be? It's insanity. Okay? The system is completely disconnected. The grade doesn't create creativity. There is no grade on this planet that makes somebody creative. Mozart didn't write symphonies by the time he was 8 because somebody said, well, go write a symphony and I'm going to grade you on it. I'm a Mozart. I want to write symphonies. And you're telling me I got to go take an SAT in math, English, and science. I couldn't care less. Okay? You're telling me that I'm not good enough if I don't get a 780 on each of these segments of the SAT. You're telling me I'm not going to go to the college that I want to go to just because I don't meet your preconceived notion of what normal is or what excellent is. You're grading me. Okay? The first thing that all of our children should be taught, and I say this to every young person who comes into this center, is very simple. Other people's opinion of you is none of your damn business. You get over it. Move on. Okay? So when you get a grade on a test, it is not a reflection of the who that you are or the what that you are. It's somebody else's opinion of you.
Well, I definitely think college is important and everything, and that it's best to get the best education possible, but I think people may be more worried about going to an Ivy League school versus a community college. But I think if you really are interested in learning, then you'll get just as good an education anywhere.
Why is it they think they have to go to Harvard, Yale, and Dartmouth? It's crystal clear. You know, dad went to Harvard and got an MD. Mom went to Princeton and became a lawyer. I have to go to some Ivy League school and become something, like a lawyer or a doctor, or I got to do that because my parents I'm expected to do that. Oh, really? The death of Ivan Ilyich. It's the story of a Russian judge, okay, who hated his job, hated his wife, hated his kids, hated his life. He hated just about everything. He lives to be 80, and on his deathbed, his wife, this is a short story, and on his deathbed, he looks up at his wife and he says, what if my whole life has been wrong? He dies. What if my whole life has been wrong? He was a judge, had a great family, big house, all of these things, and he hated every last minute of it. Great. That's fantastic, right? Think about how many human beings we, society, our paradigm of how we bring up young adults, our children, have put in exactly that same position. It's a crime. It's an absolute crime, and it starts here, okay? Here, our society, our educational institution. It's where it starts.
The term success, I feel, is misinterpreted. A lot of people feel success is only viewed in terms of monetary success. One is not successful if you are not making a lot of money, or opposite, you must be successful because you're making a lot of money. I feel sad about that because there are so many ways to be successful that is not viewed through money. And I try to show the kids, the students, that to be successful doesn't mean you're going to make a lot of money. It doesn't necessarily mean you need to go to a 4-year university, a research university. I'm not cutting down university. There are places for it, definitely, for university, but I feel many of our students are losing ground, losing hope, because they feel, I can't go to university. I don't want to go to university. Does that mean I'm not successful? And I feel that's not right.
If you really want to learn why you're here on this planet, which is really the ultimate goal, okay? Most of us don't learn that, and we end up taking more drugs than you know what to do with. The medical problem, the healthcare problem in this country is solely produced by ourselves. We create dis-ease. You know what dis-ease is? A sickness. It means ill at ease. It's dis-ease. You're not at ease. What are you not at ease about? Your entire life. You've become a doctor because your dad was a doctor, okay? But you wanted to be an engineer or a physicist, or you wanted to dance. You wanted to be in a band. You wanted to play rock and roll music, okay? You're sick. The point is, we must change this paradigm. It's not a matter of if, it's only a matter of when, okay? This population on this planet is growing by leaps and bounds. It's going to double again by 2050. There's going to be 14 billion people on this planet, okay? A large number of that part of the population is going to be hungry, tired, angry, depressed, okay, because of the way that we go about living on this planet, our society.
Yeah, I mean, I think I would delete the whole competition thing between kids, because it's become more of a, competition versus wanting to learn. Everyone's just like, what'd you get on the test, trying to get the higher score, and there's jealousy, especially even if you do well, like people get jealous. And I think that it's better to just aspire to learn and be happy, because there are a lot of unhappy people out there, and I think it's really successful if you can just be happy in life, because I think that's all everyone wants, to be happy in life.